is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Oregon men's golf making a little bit of history today. For the 19th consecutive time, Oregon men's golf is heading to the regionals. Congratulations to Oregon men's golf and Casey Martin, the entire team. That is a huge accomplishment. 19 straight years you're going to postseason. Talk about sustained excellence. Boy, 19 straight regionals. They are headed to Columbus. Their regionals will begin May 18th and run through the 20th. Remember, the regional top teams will then advance to the national championships in both men's golf and women's golf. And talking about that sustained success, you don't get to the postseason without some outstanding golfers. Aiden Kraft was today named to the All-Big Ten second team. Sebastian DeJoja was named an All-Big Ten freshman honoree. And Bryce Salem was named the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award winner from Oregon men's golf. 19 straight postseason appearances for the men's golf team as we open up Duck Insider with some good news around the athletic department. For Oregon baseball, if you missed the news, remember, no game today. The Ducks were originally scheduled to play Grand Canyon yesterday and today. That two-game series has been scratched, which means now Oregon is prepping for UCLA. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Oregon baseball takes on UCLA on the road. Ducks are traveling tomorrow. They'll practice down at Jackie Robinson Stadium and then throw the first pitch at 7 o'clock against UCLA on Friday. That is a Big Ten Network game, and I'll be on the road with the team as well for a 6:45 pregame show. We'll have the call on the Oregon Sports Network. 6:30 on Saturday, Oregon baseball takes on UCLA. Also on Big Ten Network, a 6:15 pregame show for you coming up on Saturday. And then at noon on Sunday, it's on Big Plus and an 11:45 pregame show with myself down in Westwood. Oregon baseball taking on UCLA at Jackie Robinson Stadium. These are the only two teams in the country that are undefeated on Friday nights. UCLA is at the top of the conference right now. They've been really good. Don't get me wrong. This is a good UCLA team. I think Oregon can get them. They've won some close ones. They were down double-digit runs at Michigan State in a game last weekend. But UCLA is 24-0 in conference games. Nebraska and the Ducks are in second place at 17-7. Oregon owns the tiebreaker with Nebraska after the series win against a team that right now might be a regional host. They did just get swept by Ohio State. Not looking great right now for the Huskers. USC's 19-8, and then Michigan and Purdue are both 15-9, tied for fifth place. This is a critical weekend for the Ducks. Might be the first team to hand UCLA a conference loss. That's the number one team in the country in UCLA. They're 9-1 in their last 10. The Ducks are 8-2 in their last 10. It's two of the hotter teams here down the stretch in the month of May. But that schedule adjustment, one thing that's been a benefit to the Ducks, and I was talking with Coach Wasikowski about this on the road when we were up in Seattle for the series against UW. This is a time of year where a lot of teams don't have a lot of practice time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you play a 3-game series. You take Monday off. You play Tuesday. Sometimes the Ducks were traveling Wednesday then. You know, sure, there's still some practices on Wednesdays and Thursdays, but there's not a ton of development time at this juncture of the season. Well, now Oregon actually has had some development time. Without playing games against Grand Canyon, the Ducks are practicing more heading into that matchup with UCLA. Again, 7 o'clock Friday, 6:30 on Saturday, noon on Sunday. Another schedule change for Oregon baseball, if you missed the news, it will be a 7 o'clock start at PK Park on Thursday next week against USC. Then on the 15th, the Ducks will play USC that Friday at 6 o'clock, and then a 3 o'clock start on Saturday the 16th for Oregon baseball taking on USC. Huge weekend on the road to build the postseason resume. The Ducks right now are worried about the Big Ten standings, but certainly you're thinking about, as postseason looms, what that resume looks like for the Ducks the rest of the way. And I, for one, think that the Ducks have a great opportunity in front of them to build a resume worthy of hosting a regional. Right now, based on the RPI, probably not a regional host. You get a couple wins down at UCLA, the RPI for the Ducks is going to go up just when you throw the first pitch. That's the way that it's going to work this weekend. Big run ahead for Oregon baseball. Meanwhile, Oregon softball getting ready for their tournament in the Big Ten as well. We're going to talk with Saul Galvan. He's on the call for KWVA. He's making the trip as we speak. We sat down with him before he took off. We've got that for you coming up. Also, we'll check in with Oregon football. The men's basketball roster continues to take shape, and the Big Ten softball tournament is getting underway. Remember, the 4-seed Indiana, the 1-seed Nebraska, the 2-seed Ducks, and the 3-seed Bruins of UCLA all have first-round byes. 5 through 12 are in a single elimination bracket in the Big Ten softball tournament that is underway today. Oregon will play the winner of Purdue and Wisconsin, who are scheduled to throw the first pitch in just about half an hour here. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Purdue and Wisconsin, the winner of that game will play Oregon tomorrow, a 1:30 Pacific time start for the Ducks. It's on Big Ten Network. Ryan Milano is going to be here in the Country Financial Studio for you on Duck Insider tomorrow, and he'll keep you up to speed on everything that this Big Ten softball tournament brings for the Ducks. Oregon earning the number 2 seed with a series win against UCLA. The Ducks ended up owning the tiebreaker with the Bruins. That meant Oregon's the 2 seed, UCLA is the 3 seed in this Big Ten softball tournament that, again, is underway today. The winner of Purdue and Wisconsin takes on Oregon. Again, postseason resume. The Ducks heading into postseason play for Oregon softball, number 9 in the RPI. They were number 11 in both of the major softball polls this week. You get a couple wins in the Big Ten tournament. Shoot, you win the Big Ten tournament, play all the way until Saturday. I got to think that Oregon's RPI and resume might be just good enough to perhaps host a regional, and not just a regional, but a super regional as well. The Ducks, should they be in the top 8? If they win a regional in Eugene, then they would host a super regional and hopefully a trip to the Women's College World Series. A return to Oklahoma City from last year would be on the horizon for the Ducks. I got to think that Oregon softball will get the respect that it deserves with a couple wins over UCLA and Nebraska. That's just my feeling heading into this tournament. Because right now, Nebraska and UCLA are projected to be regional hosts as well. And that jockeying for position, which teams from the Big Ten end up in the top 8, you get a couple wins against them in postseason play. Yeah, I like Oregon's chances. I really like Oregon's chances. Men's basketball roster continuing to take shape. We'll break that down for you. I want to get a timeout maybe a little early today because we've got multi-part conversation with Saul Galvan. We'll break things down with the guys on the road with Oregon softball, his thoughts on this Big Ten tournament. We'll preview postseason for Duck softball next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. A lot of honors rolling in for Oregon teams, and you hope that Oregon softball is going to be a big part of that coming up. Big Ten tournament, 1:30 Pacific time tomorrow. The Big Ten tournament begins for Oregon softball, the 2 seed. And before he hit the road today, Saul Galvan sat down with us. He's been on the call all year long. Last 2 years, actually, for Oregon softball on KWVA. We chatted with Saul about the year that's been and what to expect for the Ducks in the Big Ten tournament. Postseason for Oregon softball. Saul Galvan will be there the whole way. He's been with Oregon softball all season long. You've heard the calls on KWVA. You had some fun this year, didn't you?
Oh, this was fun. This was an amazing second year to be with the program right now. Just a lot of ups, a few downs, but the ups always make up for it.
Okay, you talked about their second year with the program.
Yeah.
Go back to last year.
Yeah.
Pretty good year.
Pretty good year. That was a tough one to follow up, but you always want to try to follow up for this year. Right. And I think right now they're in a good spot to follow it up.
They are. And you know, to that point, like you Coach Lombardi always says, different versions, right? Every team is a little bit different. This team different than last year's. Less postseason experience maybe even in some ways. But the fact is that the Ducks have put together a great team that's been really good top to bottom this year.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the postseason experience, right, and that's not really relevant. But they still have to do a lot from last year, right? You think about the pitching as well. It's coming back.
Especially.
Same thing a lot with the offense, the freshmen that are now sophomores and kind of taking that veteran leadership, even though they are only sophomores. Like, that's big, right, to have that postseason experience so early on in your career. Because then now when you're getting into your sophomore, your junior, and senior years, you're like, wait, I've done this before. It's not maybe not be as easier, but still you're familiar with it. You recognize it a little bit more. And I think even with the players that they brought in, right, the Elon Butler, the Amari Harper, the Addison Amaral, they all know what it takes, right? They play with some really good programs beforehand, and they know what playing for a postseason is like. So even though they may not have experience playing postseason with Oregon softball, they have that experience with other places right now, and that's going to be big heading down the home stretch.
Well, the postseason experience is so valuable, not just for the team, but for the broadcaster. You know what to expect now.
A little bit.
You do.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, you do.
You learn it a little once in a while. Same thing with the traveling, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. What are you doing on the travel?
I try to get out a little bit more. I think this year I've changed that about it.
Notice he didn't say homework?
I try to do that beforehand so I can enjoy the trip.
Right.
Yeah. On the plane ride there and then on the plane ride back.
Oh,
if the Wi-Fi isn't bad.
If the Wi-Fi isn't bad. We talked about that with Rob.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have good Wi-Fi.
You have to. Sometimes I have to pay for the Wi-Fi, which is
I get it, though.
But, yeah, if it's a 4-hour flight, I'm like, hey, this is 4 hours uninterrupted. I need to do homework. So sometimes you got to pay that $8.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. I do, dude. I do. Like, I travel a lot, too. I get it. It's a necessity to have the good Wi-Fi. But you've gotten out more.
I have, yeah. It's been nice. I try to get a car every once in a while so that way I can go out and venture and not just have to stay in the hotel and, just sit there the entire time. It's nice, too. I mean, some of the cities that they played in this year have been really nice. It's been a lot of fun to get to go to some of these parts that maybe I've been to before I got to college, but now I'm older and I get to venture out and, just kind of have these solo different experiences.
Well, and that's what makes it fun, all of this, right, is to be able to go to all these different places, experience all these different things. And to that point, you're coming off pretty great experience in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
right?
no.
I mean, review that series for everybody.
It was amazing. I think that was the series that Oregon really wanted to going into that series, right? Because you look at the schedule to start the year, and you look at UCLA, think about what happened last year, right? They came to the Jane, and that was ultimately the series that decided the Big Ten championship for Oregon. If they drop that series, maybe they don't win the Big Ten the first year. But this year, I think they knew that coming down the home stretch, it was going to be a dogfight, really, between them, UCLA, Nebraska, obviously, in first place. You had the 4 seed that was still making some noise right below them. So that was going to be a big series. And Coach Lombardi even said it too, that was going to be a super regional type feeling. You're going to go into Westwood against a team that is really powerful, has had a lot of home runs hit this season, and that's been one of the things that Oregon maybe hasn't been able to contain. So that was going to be a key thing going into it. And the Ducks did just that, right? UCLA was powering them pretty much the entire weekend. Still a lot of home runs, but when the offense can match what they're doing and then have that bigger inning than them, it's going to be hard to catch up.
Well, you think about, too, the game on Saturday alone, just find a way to win.
5 different lead changes.
5 different lead changes.
5 different lead changes, yeah.
Yeah. Did you run out of home run calls?
I kind of did a little bit. Just kept saying gone a lot. But you know what? It is really deceiving there because the tree line in the outfield, like left and right field, so sometimes you see a ball hits right field, you're like, oh, that might stay in. Oh, never mind. It's out.
Right. Yeah. It's funny, at baseball, at Jackie Robinson Stadium, ball does not fly there at night.
Yeah.
Like, particularly when the sun goes down, it is not a hitter's ballpark.
I will say it did fly a lot.
It flew
a lot this weekend.
A lot
with the sun beating down on Easton Stadium, it flew a lot.
Yeah, it seemed that way. But I think, though, the reason I bring up that game in particular on Saturday, this is an Oregon team that has found a variety of ways to win. And it's so difficult to quantify this, but I think particularly in diamond sports, there's a factor of that where you just have to figure out different ways to win. You know, you talk about in basketball, like you have to learn how to win, and that's sometimes just take care of the basketball in certain situations. Football, it's how to bleed the clock and take the first down rather than the big play. The diamond sports are this way too, I think. I think that learning how to win is a real valuable factor, especially at this point in the season.
No doubt. I mean, we go back to what last year's team did versus what this year's team's doing, right? And last year's team didn't have a lot of those comebacks, right? Because a lot of the games, it was, the big margin, right? They were run rolling a lot of their opponents. They were winning by 8+ runs. And that's helpful, right? Because you want to get all that confidence. But having that ability to come back in multiple situations, right? I even think about the Iowa game, too, when they were down by as many as 6 runs. They came all the way back, too. And then even against UCLA, right? You trade haymakers in a game like that. It's going to happen. Those are going to be the types of games you're going to play in postseason. So to have that experience going into it is super key, especially for, like you mentioned, a roster that maybe doesn't have a ton of experience playing together, to know that they can trust each other 1 through 9. They can get the job done also in the circle. Like, that is invaluable experience. And I think even Coach Lombardi knows that, maybe Sunday didn't come out the way, but they can learn a lot from that. They can learn from a game like that. And this team has found a way to win. You always want to get the sweep, but to take the series still against a team like that, that's pretty big.
Saul Galvan joining us. He's hitting the road with Oregon softball. The Big Ten tournament coming up Thursday, 1:30 Pacific time. The start. When's pregame?
What time is it? Half hour beforehand? So 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock, yeah.
Okay, so 1 o'clock pregame. That means that you'll be able to tune in to Saul Galvan with a half an hour. You got a whole half hour planned.
Whole half hour. Might even be more if the previous game gets delayed a little bit.
That could be. The one warning I have is get ready for a long pregame show in postseason.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen in the games in front of you.
We might. I might ask Greg Walker to come on and share a few tidbits. Maybe even Pooh. He might come on a little bit if he's out there with us in Maryland.
That's right. Well, you got plenty to talk about though.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. And one of those notes, you think about the way that Oregon has found different ways to win. How about Elon Butler finding different ways to get on base? I mean,
oh man.
A total bases single-season record. To put that in context, like that record has stood since 2007, and I realize you're like, that's not that long, but think of the great players in Oregon softball history that have come through this program now. Multiple All-Americans. Elon Butler's got the total bases record in a single season.
I was funny because I was talking about that with Greg Walker the other day, and her and Lindsay, right? They've only been here. I mean, Butler's only been here a season. Lindsay's been here 2 years. They might break a handful of records by the end of this year. And it's a short period of time compared to some of the names that were on there that have played their whole careers here. They played 3 to 4 years with the Ducks, and that just shows you right there how impressive that, especially Elon in particular, has been this year. And it's funny, too, because, I mean, you talk about the total bases as well. Walks don't even apply to that. And she's racked up so many walks that the number might be higher if they did apply to that. And that's just impressive in itself, that knowing she can go up there and every time she's going to give you a competitive at-bat. She really provided a spark this weekend, and it's now kind of that leadoff role hitter. It's always something that you go into, you have to be aggressive, and she's been everything that Oregon's asked her this year.
And Coach Lombardi and I had talked, maybe it must have been about a month ago now, like putting her in that leadoff spot. It changes the dynamic of the lineup.
It does, yeah, and it's funny too because I never expected it, right? Because you expect someone who has that much power and ability to drive in runs to bat leadoff, but it works, right? To have her, to know that the 7 through 9 hitters can get on, and she's going to bring them home, set up whoever's in the 2-3 spot. Like, it works. And she's also a really good base runner as well, something that a lot of teams probably won't know. She can run the bases really well. She's got a lot of doubles. She's got a couple triples on the year. And the power in itself, right? To have her go up there. She's done this a couple times already where she goes after the first pitch, and it catches the other team off guard, and then the 2-hole hitter comes up and is like, whoa, this team can play, right? So to have that ability to go up there, get the start for the lineup, and just be able to continuously pour it on as the inning continue, like, that's big for a leadoff hitter, and it's exactly what you want.
Well, and the truth is, too, in the modern diamond sport era, right, like, you want to get as many at-bats as possible.
Right.
And Ducks have done that, right? She's hitting more often now because she's at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, and I even think back to the second game against Iowa where she hit for the cycle, right?
Right.
Maybe doesn't get that if she hasn't hit in the leadoff spot.
That's
and
right.
just the ability to go up there and start the inning off and just be able to have a fresh at-bat, nobody on. Like, it's a lot less pressure when you are the leadoff hitter. It is a little bit more pressure, obviously, because you want to get on, set your teammates up. But, to just come in and know that you're going to be the first one to face the pitcher and kind of set the tone early, it's pretty exciting as well.
That's Saul Galvan, the voice of Oregon softball. He's sports director at KWVA here at the student radio station at the University of Oregon. Been on the road with them, has been calling the games for the last 2 years, and he had so much fun throughout the postseason. I always say, he and I have talked about this, like, the broadcaster sounds good when the team is good, right? Also, Saul is one heck of a broadcaster. I'm really looking forward to seeing where his career goes, and being on the road with Oregon softball this week, I'm hoping we don't see him in Eugene again until Sunday, because that means that Oregon softball is in the championship on Saturday, and I mean it. If the Ducks take care of business here, I feel like a super regional setup to host is in their future. Being a top 8 seed, that means you'd host super regionals. You get to host all the way to Oklahoma City when you make it to the Women's College World Series. Huge advantage, particularly when your home field is Jane Sanders Stadium. Huge, huge advantage. So, Galvan, we're going to take a timeout, come back, talk more Oregon softball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon getting ready for the Big Ten tournament on the softball diamond, and then 2 regular season weekends left for Oregon baseball. A lot of diamond action, meaningful diamond action here down the stretch. 1:30 tomorrow, Oregon softball will throw the first pitch to begin the Big Ten tournament. We continue our conversation with Saul Galvan. He'll be on the road with Oregon softball calling the games for KWVA. Here's Saul. To zero in, too, on the offense, I mean, the sophomore group, there was so much pressure on them heading into this year. You talk about the great freshman class that was so good last year. Ducks aren't in postseason with the way they performed down the stretch as freshmen. Now I think it's similar for the likes of, for one example, Stephanie Make. Yeah. What a weekend against UCLA. Riley McCoy hits a home run. Like, okay, this lineup looks a little bit longer now heading into postseason. Maybe peaking at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, again, you never want to be playing your best softball in the regular season. You want to be playing some of your best softball, but you want to save it for the postseason. And I think right now, that's what we're seeing out of this lineup. You're seeing some of the players that maybe you didn't have the best start to the season. And that's going to happen in softball. You're going to have slumps. You're going to have struggles, right? But it's all about when you start getting it together. And for her, especially for Steph and Riley, to get it together against UCLA, which is a very powerful team, a team that's probably going to compete for a World Series title, for them to have that experience last year and then to go into a weekend like UCLA and have the weekends they did, like that's big, because, again, they're going to be relying on experience like that. They know what it's like to play in the World Series under the lights. Obviously, Riley was a big part of it last year. Same thing with Steph as well. Those two are going to be instrumental if they want to make another run. So for them to, finally, find some stuff against a very powerful team, that's got to be really big too. And even same with Addison Amaral as well. She cleared the bases with a double in that second game against UCLA, and for her to come off the bench and have an at-bat like that, she has also been kind of struggling here and there, but she's also starting to find a rhythm.
Well, and I think that you talk about peaking at the right time, and some of it is that you found a rhythm with the way the lineup is. We talk about Elon Butler hitting leadoff, right? And the Ducks have kind of settled in some of those categories at least.
Yeah, and what I love so much too is that this team is not afraid to try different things, right? And that's what you have to do, right? Sometimes in the diamond sports, I mean, we talk about baseball too. Sometimes it can be a stagnant thing where the lineup never changes regardless of what happens. But this team knows that when things aren't going their way, they got to make a change. And it doesn't matter where you put them, 1 through 9, they're going to be ready to hit no matter what. We're seeing Kaylin Jones. She was the 2-hole hitter the entire year. Now she's batting 5th. Anna Shaw, she was batting leadoff for a good portion. Now she's the 8th spot. And you look at all these things, you're like, does this make sense? But then you watch the games like, wait, it's all working out right now. It's setting up perfectly. So, that's what this team is capable of doing. Something that I think Duck fans are going to be really excited to see in the postseason is their ability to adapt, right? They might be different from game to game, but they're going to play the same no matter what.
Well, talk about adapting too. In the circle, right? I mean, Lindsey Grine, has just been so good over the course of the entire season. Has had a couple bumps, but she's pitching so much against the best competition. Lately, Elise Sokolski's been a difference maker. Taylor Spencer at times difference maker. I mean, what about the depth in the circle? How valuable that could be here in the postseason?
It's so valuable. You think the last year too, right, with Stacey Chambers and having that third option in the bullpen.
If you don't have Stacey Chambers, the Ducks are not in the World Series.
No, I thoroughly believe that. And I think even Coach Lombardi and the rest of the team think that as well, that if you don't have that third option, it's not okay, right? And you even see too, right, even that stretch where they didn't have Elise available and Lindsey and Maddie and Taylor were getting a bulk of the innings, right? The depth was still there, but you could tell they were missing something. Going into the postseason is really when you need the pitching the most because you never know what can happen, right? Obviously, with softball, it's a little bit different because you can re-enter one of your pitchers and bring them back in, which is what we've been seeing more out of Oregon. But still, to have that ability to know that you have a 1-2 punch with Lindsey and Elise, and then you also have Taylor, who's been doing really good. She pitched some solid innings as well over the past couple weekends, especially against Ohio State. And then you have Maddie, a 4th option as well. Like, that's big to know that as a coach, if you get into those haymaker games where you're just going back and forth and you just need arms, you have the options. You don't just rely on 1 or 2 pitchers. You have 3 or 4 air disposal that you can go to at a moment's notice.
Chatting with Saul Galvan. He's got the call on KWVA for Oregon softball coming up, the hometown radio call for the entire Big Ten tournament. Planning to hear him on Saturday at 12:30 for pregame.
Yeah.
1 o'clock for the Big Ten championship. But to that point, Oregon's in the NCAA tournament. We know that. Now it's playing for postseason. They're actually the 2 seed in this Big Ten tournament. Nebraska the 1, had UCLA. The tiebreaker goes to the Ducks. Break down the Big Ten tournament for fans. Like, what do you make of this conference heading into the tournament?
It's going to be so exciting. I think you even look at who Oregon is supposed to play in either Purdue or Wisconsin right now. Those are 2 tough teams, right? Wisconsin, one of those 2 teams that Oregon has yet to play in the Big Ten in their 2 seasons.
That's a little different.
Purdue, obviously, we know what happened earlier this year. Purdue gave a little bit of trouble, right, on the road, and that's a tough team. That's what the Big Ten gives you. It doesn't matter if you're the 1 seed or all the way down to the 12 seed. It's going to give you trouble. And I think we've seen it a couple times already with some of these series that these teams, it doesn't matter where the seeding's at because they have the talent and capability to compete with ranked teams like Nebraska, like Oregon, like UCLA. So I think, obviously last year didn't go the way they wanted to. Obviously Oregon was the 1 seed. They ended up losing to the Big Ten champions in Michigan. And you learn a lot from that, right? You learn, hey, it's win and go. You have to be able to win. It's not like postseason where you can drop a game and then be able to bounce back. It's like, no, the tournament is one and done.
Single elimination.
Exactly. So I think that adds a little bit more pressure, obviously, but it also shows you like, hey, we got to treat this like it is postseason because they could do a lot, right? You think if the Ducks can make some noise in the Big Ten tournament, maybe make to the semis or the finals, could even talk about hosting a Super as well.
So there's the next question for you. Break down the resume for fans. What do you think heading into postseason?
I think that Oregon has one of the elite resumes, right? You look at the start of the season from all the ranked competition. I mean, this was a gauntlet of a schedule. If you go back and look at the schedule that they started out with, right, from Florida to Stanford to the Mary Nether, then they come back home for a couple of weekends. They start off with Penn State. They go on the road to play a couple of really good teams in Purdue, Northwestern, again, just all teams that are top 100 in the RPI and really adds onto the resume. And again, not everything has gone their way, and that's going to happen in softball. It wasn't the opening weekend they expected, but ever since then, it's been kind of a build-up since then. They got 3 ranked wins at the Mary Nether. They've got a ton more. Obviously, UCLA plays a big factor. So I think the resume is really good right now. You can probably assume that they're going to host a regional, but in terms of the Supers, they want postseason softball to run to the Jane. That's been their goal all season long. They got a taste of it from last year. They said, hey, you know what? We like playing in front of our home fans. We like playing in front of the Jane, to make it to the World Series. And it really does something as well to have all the Duck fans behind you, cheering you on and making it one of the toughest places to play. So, right now it is about, just continue to stack on as many wins as possible to get to that regional and then ultimately the super regional if they get in that top 8.
And to talk about the gauntlet of the schedule, that's been a theme of our conversation with Coach Lombardi all year. I mean, depending on which strength of schedule metric you're looking at, Ducks are for sure a top 10 strength of schedule.
Yeah.
And that tells you, with the Big Ten being pretty good this year, right? Nebraska helping that RPI, aiding the strength of schedule. But remember, Oregon didn't play Nebraska this year.
Yeah, they didn't. And it's unfortunate because as a softball fan, you think, man, if these two teams would have played each other, wow, this would have been a good matchup, right? You saw Oregon UCLA, you think, man, this is a really good. But, yeah, it's just one of those things that's out of your control. And so now it's, okay, how can you combat that, right? How can you make up for that? Well, by going out and get a couple wins in the Big Ten tournament, then, if it works out the way that the bracket kind of works, we could be seeing Oregon-Nebraska in the championship.
And that may very well then determine not just who brings home that Big Ten trophy, but maybe talk about that 8 versus 9 line. I mean, right now Oregon, for example, is at number 9 in the RPI.
Yep.
Whew. That's going to be
Come down the wire.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
See how much it changes, too, over the course of these postseason tournaments. And I think the committee, if you look at Oregon, scheduled up, wasn't afraid to go play in non-conference. The Ducks are certainly a different team now than they were in non-conference play. Here's just some games at the Jane.
It's going to be fun. I'm so excited. I think after last year, too, and they talk about it, right? And Coach Lombardi doesn't shy away. It's saying, hey, we don't worry about postseason until we get there. No, they've worried about postseason since day one. That's always been their goal. And they knew that right away that after last year, the Stanford, getting the walk-off, Liberty coming in and then sweeping in 2 games, just the environment to have the Jane filled this year. And they felt it this year. This has been basically every home series has had a sellout crowd pretty much every game. So they've already provided that. The fans have done that already. And now they want to treat the fans to some more postseason softball. She even said, too, after Ohio State on senior weekend, we do not expect this to be our last home game at the Jane this year.
Me neither. Oregon softball postseason. Saul Galvan's got the call on KWVA throughout the entire Big Ten tournament. You've been around the team. What are their keys to success in the Big Ten tournament?
Firing on all 3 cylinders. After Sunday, we talked with Coach, and that's what she said. It's postseason time. They've had that postseason mindset ever since the start. But now you're actually in it. You have to kick some extra things into gear, and you have to play some complete softball. I think that these last 3 weeks, they've been playing some of their best softball, in terms of just having the defense firing, right? There's been some amazing defensive plays. I think if you go watch the highlights from the last 3 weekends, your jaw will be dropped based on everything, especially Taryn Ho and Katie Flannery left side of the infield. The offense, right, to not only hit the home run, but to get runners on, to drive them in, to take advantage of the mistakes made by the team. And then same thing with the pitching as well. Not always going to be, the best day. I think we saw that obviously this past weekend, especially on Saturday. They would say, hey, wish we could have gave up a few less home runs, but to just keep them in the game, right, to avoid the big inning, to not give up too much to the opponent. If you have all those 3 working, Ducks are one of the toughest teams to beat right now.
He's Saul Galvan, voice of the softball team, and he's on the road at the Big Ten tournament. Enjoy the pizza place. Not going to say which one.
Find out.
So follow him on social media. He'll probably tell you which pizza.
I'll give you a review. I'll give the pizza review.
You give the review on the broadcast?
I can give the review.
Okay.
That'll be, you know what, pregame show, that might be an extra segment.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Look, if Rob Mullins gives you the recommendation of where you go to eat. you go.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob, for that recommendation
that was
in
good.
advance because I know it's going to be good.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Saul Galvan, 1 o'clock pregame show on KWVA, 1:30 scheduled first pitch for Oregon in the Big Ten tournament. Good luck.
Bring back a trophy.
That's the plan. Tell you what, great YouTube comment yesterday. You know who you are. You got that pizza place right. Well done. Well done. Great YouTube comment. It was, in fact, correct. Rob gave the pizza recommendation. Saul's running with it. When we come back, the Oregon men's basketball roster is taking shape. Some honors for track and field, and we'll check in with Duck Football on the Oregon Sports Network from their field.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in
Coming up on the Oregon Twilight at Hayward Field on Friday night. It's always perfect weather at the Twilight, by the way. Like, no matter what happens, it's perfect at Hayward Field. Whenever that is scheduled, every year, it's perfect. We welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack. We're in the Country Financial Studio talking about track and field. Kai Graves Blanks has been named the Big Ten Track Athlete of the Week. Standout performance at Desert Heat Classic in Tucson. He finished the meet with 2 victories, 3 top 10 program marks, including a school record with that Ducks 4x100 meter relay team. First appearance, Graves Blanks teamed with the group that set the record for a time of 38:59. Broke the Oregon school record in the 4x1. That time also leads the Big Ten. Currently number 2 in the NCAA this season. Graves Blanks ran the leadoff leg. He's from Upland, California. He dropped his lifetime best in the 110-meter hurdle as well at 13:28, another Big Ten leader. He also moved to second on the Oregon all-time list in the event, and he capped his day with another personal best, a time of 20.59 in the 200 meters, which also helped him crack the Ducks' top 10 list at number 9. Ducks close out the regular season with that aforementioned Oregon Twilight at Hayward Field this Friday. It's senior day. The meet will also feature the Kids Half Lapper and Middle School Mile presented by the Tracktown Kids Club, the OTC Master Mile, and the Warsaw Costume Relay for Oregon students. It's one of the best pieces of video that you will see all year. The costume race is absolutely iconic. Ticket packages for the Oregon home schedule are on sale. Head to GoDucks.com. They've got all session and single day options for the NCAA championships coming up in June as well. The postseason begins May 15th through 17th. Big Ten Championship is in Lincoln, Nebraska in the middle of this month, about 10 days from today. And then the West first round will be at the end of the month in Fayetteville. The top 12 from each regional site earn top spots at the NCAA championships coming up in Eugene. The men's basketball roster is taking shape. They announced the signing of a couple transfers yesterday, and today, 2 more so far, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Jerry Easter II. He comes to Oregon after spending his freshman season at USC last year. He appeared in 29 games, made 7 starts, averaged 4.5 points, shot 44% from the field, 3 rebounds and an assist in 17 minutes per contest. He recorded 4 double-figure scoring performances on the season. It was highlighted by a 13-point outing with 4 rebounds and 4 assists against Washington. Hey, let's have those trends continue. Have great games against Washington when you transfer to the University of Oregon, huh? Jerry Easter, he also has been a highly touted recruit in his career. He was very, very good in Branson, Missouri, where he played his junior and senior seasons, helped lead the Link to an EYBL Scholastic League Conference title, was an all-tournament team honoree there. He's originally a native of Toledo, Ohio, and he spent his first 2 high school seasons at Toledo Emmanuel Christian, then transferred to play in better competition. Now, after a year at USC, joining the Ducks. More on the men's basketball roster front. Taylor Bowen is joining the team, a forward at 6'10", plus played 90 career games, 39 starts over 3 seasons for Florida State and Alabama. Career averages of 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block in about 18 minutes per game. As a junior last year, he appeared in 30 games, made 11 starts for Alabama. 6 points, 4 rebounds, and a block in 19 minutes per game. Shot 41% from the field. Scored double figures 9 times. Prior to his time at Alabama, Bowen played the 24-25 season at Florida State. He averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, and a steal in about 25 minutes per game over 29 appearances, 28 of which were starts. A true freshman in the 23-24 campaign, he played 31 games, 3 points, 2.5 rebounds while at Florida State. He was born in Egypt, raised in Jericho, Vermont. A 4-star recruit, was a member of the 2023 Nike Hoop Summit roster, spent his final 2 high school seasons at Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, led the program to 2 Elite 8 appearances in the National Prep Championship. He's been a great role player as a forward everywhere he's been, but has always had that skill set that could translate into more points, more rebounds, 6'10", very athletic forward joining the Ducks. So, Jerry Easter, Taylor Bowen, the roster's taking shape for Oregon men's basketball. On the basketball front, Katie Fiso, one of 9 players selected to the USA 3-on-3 development camp ahead of the 2026 USA Basketball 3x Women's Showcase. 3-on-3 basketball is really becoming quite the phenomenon. More and more great players are participating in these 3-on-3, not just camps, but tournaments. Ducks had a gold medal winner in 3-on-3 previously on this roster. Katie Fiso joining that Team USA Showcase 3-on-3 development camp. And speaking of Team USA, for the 3rd year in a row, Kiara Romero was named to Team USA for the Arnold Palmer Cup. This is an amazing accomplishment. The number 1 ranked amateur in the world. No surprise that Kiara Romero of Oregon Women's Golf has been named to Team USA for the Arnold Palmer Cup. She and the Ducks are in postseason action coming up next week. Her teammate Tong An joined us in the Country Financial Studio this week. That interview for you coming up likely tomorrow on Duck Insider. Oregon football now heading toward the fall. I'm happy to report that one Mike Jorgensen's going to be with us to break down his thoughts on spring ball, fall camp. Maybe we'll ask him how many wins the Ducks have on their schedule. But first, we'll get into Evan Stewart. Some of his thoughts as we continue to sprinkle in some spring game conversations. Evan Stewart on getting back out in front of the crowd at Autzen Stadium. Evan Stewart.
Been a long road coming back, just kind of getting back healthy. What did it feel like to get out there again and then to get that early touchdown as well?
Exciting. I've actually never scored in a spring game before. That was actually my first time scoring. So it was exciting. Because the fans, it was a lot of fans today. Appreciate them for showing love. It felt like a real game day experience. So shoot, when I was streaking down the sideline, it was amazing. It was a great feeling. Like, I just thank God I'm back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a one of a kind feeling.
Did you approach this spring game different than you normally might have, given the fact that you've been hurt? I mean, was it more than just a spring game for you?
Honestly, nah, because I actually love spring games. Yeah, I've actually loved spring games since high school. So spring game is fun. I was just taking in the moment, honestly. Spring game, last chance. Because honestly, I didn't know. I wasn't really thinking in that way. That was my last one. Like, so Coach Love was saying that, you know, for seniors, like, it means something. And then Tez and all the older players, they came back and they gave us a little speech before in meetings, and they were telling us, like, you know, you got to really, like, admire this. Like, you don't get this time back. Like, you got times that you'll get done and you'll be like, I wish I did this, or I could have did this. And he like, don't let that be. Like, and so that's what I went out there and I was trying to do.
What do you think of Dylan Raiola and that I guess that connection? We'll talk maybe about that more. That first one, just the throw and kind of that whole play and how it felt.
Dylan is amazing. I trained with Dylan before he even got here. His first year at Nebraska, whenever I was transferring to Oregon, I was training with Dylan in Dallas, and I knew he had an arm on him because I was throwing with Tay too in spring ball. So when I came back and threw with him, I was like, you know what? He kind of throw like Tay. Like, so yeah, pretty amazing.
Talked this spring about you kind of realizing that's a bit of a do or die season for you, kind of giving you a little bit of extra motivation as you try to work back from that injury. Just what did it feel like to have kind of the culmination of that process, getting back out there on the field? Just 17 months since the last time you were in front of these Autzen Stadium fans. Just what did that feeling feel like today?
It didn't hit me until last night because I was just thinking about, I really wanted to get here. I never really wanted to get to a spring game before. You know, I want to work on my craft, and, you know, usually when you get towards the spring game, we about to hit summer, and you miss the time to work on live reps. So this time, I was really keyed in on doing that, and when I woke up this morning, it just felt like Christmas. Honestly, like, it was game day. Like, I was like, yeah, like, it's ready. Like, I'm ready to play.
Corey was saying that you and him were talking trash this past week. I'm curious if you can divulge anything that was said, and he obviously got that last touchdown to even the score, so, or to walk off even the touchdown. So curious what was said after the game.
Gloating. He was gloating. He was gloating for sure. Honestly, he was doing the same. We had a little period early on. We did a little OT7 period, if y'all know what OT7 is. And we split the teams up how we did today. And it was the same exact teams, like receiver group, DB group, defense. And we were going at it. Everybody, we scored every single drive. Like, Tay and them scored, Dylan and them scored, Brock scored, Killy scored. We threw Ryder, Mike, Mark. So we threw Mark in there, and it was an amazing experience. We were going back and forth, and it came down to the last play, and it was thrown to me. I didn't get the last play, so we lost. Like, so it's kind of the same thing here. We saw it earlier this week, but I mean, hey, kudos to them. He got that last touchdown. They play hard. I told them before the game, we all on the same team. At the end of the day, let's go show them a show and have each other back. And then, yeah.
You're clearly healthy, but where are you in terms of working your way all the way back, in terms of remastering all the finer points of your position? Like, if you had a game next week, would you be ready to go, or do you still feel like you have ways to go to get there?
I still have a ways to go. It's my last one, but I've been waiting to get to the spring game just so I can keep toning in on my leg. It's just little things that, you know, in my game earlier that I had that I still need to be there and I like in my game. So this time we'll be able to double down on that. Other than that, I mean, shoot, I've been good.
Coach Lanning said that you've been having a really, really good spring. What are some of the goals that you're setting for yourself as we head into the summer and fall now?
My weaknesses, I never really worked on my weaknesses. My weakness was really dropping the ball early on in my career. I just had lackadaisical drops. And then I worked on it and got really good at catching. And so when I got to Oregon, they were telling me a whole bunch of other things I needed to work on. And so I would say when I sat for this past year, it allowed me to tone in on those, not physically because I wasn't able to move. So I got to look at other players that had things that I needed to work on. And that's really just been the whole mindset, like work on your weaknesses. And if I turn the weaknesses into strengths and I have no weaknesses, ooh-wee.
Coach Landon was saying you had a great game, but also said that you knew you had the green jersey on and that you weren't going to be getting hit out there. So were you hearing anything from the DBs after the touchdown that maybe if we could have gotten hands on you, we could have stopped that?
Nah, because I always wear a different jersey. Well, every time we scrimmage, I would wear a different jersey. If anything, it's always me looking at Landon when he blow the whistle, like, come on. Like, I would have stayed up if I did have his jersey on. So, if anything, it got to help him. You know what I'm saying? I can't move as much. I'm down when they tag me. So, but other than that, nah, they don't be talking trash. If I got the jersey on or off, it's over with.
He is so fun to root for so many reasons. But just the last 2 times that he sat at the podium, Evan Stewart, that is, in the HTC, the last few times that he sat at the podium, the smile on his face is just infectious. Like, you think missing a year of football didn't impact him? Like, just the smile on his face, just ear to ear beaming the entire interview. I'm so excited to see him back competing, so excited to see him on the field again, and I'm maybe even more excited just to see him in these settings. Just being happy about football again. Injuries are the worst part of sports. Like, we can all, I think, agree on that to an extent. Injuries suck. And what Evan Stewart now has gone through, and he's even saying, like, hey, this is kind of make or break for me here. Like, if I don't have a good year, the pro prospects aren't going to be the same. But don't you think that having Dante Moore at quarterback, having DeCorian Moore next to you, guys like Jeremiah McClellan next to you, Jamari Johnson maybe drawing some attention from a safety when an Evan Stewart go route could happen? I just think there's so many pieces in place for a guy like Evan Stewart to have a tremendous season. And sometimes that year off, although you never want it, injuries suck, sometimes that year off, it just recalibrates things. And maybe for him, it means that there's other pieces around him that are even better. There's a lot of options, a lot of pass catchers, not to mention the guys in the backfield. A lot of options for the Ducks, and Evan Stewart's one of them. He had fun at the spring game. I think he's going to have a lot of fun heading into fall camp. Really excited for the future with Evan Stewart. We'll continue to sprinkle in some Oregon football interviews over the course of the next couple days. Because before you know it, we're going to be sitting here previewing fall camp. It's going to be Media Day. Big Ten Media Day coming up end of July. It's like 3 full days for Big Ten football Media Days. You can't even say Media Day anymore. It's Media Days, plural. Oregon football, I think it's still just going to be Media Day. But you never know. Could end up being Media Days. And I mean days, D-A-Y-S, not D-A-Z-E. As one of my friends, Scott, I'm not kidding, one of my friends was like, oh, you make that joke too often. I'm like, no, that's not a joke. Media Days is actually... Anyway, timeout. We're going to come back, wrap up the show for today after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
Every time I hear shout now, I'm just thinking about Oregon football being able to partake in shout during the spring game, and Dan Lanning making it very clear that that is the only time that they can definitely partake. Just it's so awesome. Talking with Rob Mullins about that yesterday was great. By the way, if you missed our conversation on Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union with Rob yesterday, worth your time. Rob covered about 10 minutes of just the history of Oregon softball and St. Sanders Stadium, and it was outstanding just to dial in on that and then just where things are in college athletics. Rob will be on the show one more time in June. We always have Rob on the last week of the show. We end the show around the end of the athletic season and the academic calendar with graduation. And Rob's going to be on the show one more time. And I say this like half jokingly. Everything that we talked about yesterday may all change by then. That's just the nature of how fast things are turning. But what won't change is that the University of Oregon continues to compete for championships. Next championship on the line is softball. Big Ten tournament is underway around the conference. They're in Maryland, and Oregon softball will throw the first pitch at 1:30 tomorrow. Ryan Milano's got you here in the Country Financial Studio for the next couple days. I'm on the road with Oregon baseball, hunting for a championship there as well against UCLA this weekend. See you tomorrow.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate